It's our weekly visit with our guy, Alan Griffin, in person here this week. Griff, you'll probably not next week. You have a game on Wednesday, so I imagine we'll have to probably alter the schedule here.
Yeah, I might be calling in.
Yeah, you might have to call. If you stop by on the way, too, that would be impressive. I think it's a road game, too, which would make it even harder.
It definitely is.
Yeah, so,
we'll be in South Carolina.
Yeah, so if you could pop by just on the way to Clemson, that would be impressive. Man, but we were just talking about it during the break. Not fun last night. Like, that couldn't have been fun for any of you guys going through that.
No, not at all. Obviously, you got to tilt your hat to Louisville. They played a really good game. They were well prepared for us, and they executed their game plan.
How do you? I mean, obviously you go back and watch the tape. You do all the stuff you normally do. Do you like grind into it on a game like that, or is it about other things than just, oh well, we just didn't run this play right or whatever?
Nah, it's a combination of both. You practice something leading into a game, and obviously as soon as the game comes, sometimes it just doesn't go the way you practice it, and you just got to live with it. Then certain things that you prepare for that sometimes they don't do, or sometimes they do it a little bit better than you prepare for, and then you just got to live with it as coaches. And I would say for a little part of that game, I thought we played at a high level, and then it just kind of went down a little bit, and that was partly them and, partly us a little bit.
Yeah, look at the beginning of the game, the first, 5-10 minutes, you guys are going back and forth. You had some shots. I mean, look at a couple of the shots Elijah had. You're like, man, if that goes in. Right. And then they go on that run. What happens there when they're able to go on whatever it was, that it turns from a 4-point game to a 14-point game?
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough because, in those instances, like we would hope, our guy, JJ, would, be able to do something to kind of, lessen the blow a little bit. And at that time, they did a really good job of, cutting him off in all places. And it just kind of snowballed from that. And we weren't able to kind of get going.
Yeah, obviously Chucky Hepburn's a really good player. He's one of the better on-ball guard defenders in the league, and they had him on JJ all game. It looked like they're hedging off screens. They're doing anything with him. How tough is it when, you need to get JJ going, and they're like, no, we're not allowing that today.
Yeah, and then, there was some points in that run where we thought JJ needed to be a little bit more aggressive, but, him trying to get his teammates involved, it kind of took away from what we needed to be done at that particular moment. So it's not like just, when no one's pointing the blame at JJ or it's just one of those things where it just snowballed, and then we can never get it back. Yeah,
this is the first year in college where he's been the guy, right? I mean, He was the freshman with $8 million, 6-year seniors at Notre Dame last year. Obviously, Judah. I mean, JJ was your number 2. Judah was your number 1 guy. The last few games, it's worked out great. He had 2 fantastic games when you look at Georgia Tech and Boston College. How different is this now that he's seen all right, now teams are yeah, this guy, absolutely not. What does he have to do to deal with that stuff?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
When you're the top guy in a team scouting report, you get everything thrown at you. And, it's one of those things where in some games he adjusted really well. Like the BC game, when you look at the whole game in entirety, he wasn't playing that well, and then the second half he just went bananas, right? You know what I mean? We were thinking and hoping that he did that against Louisville too, but obviously it didn't go that way. But when you're the top of the scouting report, it can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it's a whole different world, elevating up that last step up to the top rung on there.
Ryan, think about this. Think about Chris Bell. He was at the top when JJ went out, and look what happened to him. It's an adjustment, right? And not to say anything bad about Chris or JJ. It's just sometimes it's one of those things where you got to be ready every night.
And then obviously it lands more on other people, right? Okay, you guys got to do that. What can the other guys do? I guess when Louisville last night is clearly somebody else. We don't care. Somebody else beat us, and until somebody else does, we're not going to worry about it.
Right, definitely. And that's what obviously Chris got going a little bit. He started to put the ball in the hole, and he had a couple shots late. But you kind of need that from everybody. And Jair had a spurt in the game.
Good start.
Yep. And then then you look at Lucas Taylor. He didn't score. He didn't give us nothing. And we kind of looked towards him. In the last couple of games, he's been shooting close to 50% from 3, and So, it's just one of those things where, again, it just snowballed away from us. And, we just got to live with it and get ready for, a really good Notre Dame team.
Yeah, and obviously you played a tough game with them. They didn't have Burton. You didn't have JJ last time, so it'll be a very different thing this Saturday when you both have your best guys out there. We saw a lot more Jaquan last night. Was that just because, all right, JJ can't get away from these guys? We need another ball handler out there, or what's the thought there?
Yeah, definitely. And JC can, relieve JJ and put him off the ball a little bit. So hopefully we can kind of free him up a little bit and free JJ up, excuse me. And, JJ has some opportunities, especially in the second half, where he kind of got in the paint, kicked it out to JC, and JC made the three. And, it's just one of those things where, 40 minutes at the point, can he do it? Yes, but is it beneficial for us sometimes? Probably not. So we need JC to be ready at all times.
It's our weekly visit with our guy, Alan Griffin. And now, I think when we talked last week, Griff, it was literally, the day after Donnie missed his first game. Now he's, 3-4 games into not having played. How different is it not having him out there right now?
It's really difficult because, he's a double-double guy, and a guy that, at some points or some stretches in games we went to. But, I think Jair's, stepped up and is doing well. Can Jair do more? Definitely. And it's our job to kind of figure that out and try to get him into some situations. But, Donnie's a big loss for us, and hopefully he can continue to get healthy and we can get him here back soon.
Is that the hope, to get him back in the mix at some point?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I'm not in those.
You don't get the medical meeting invite?
Nah, that's all the big guys deal. But I just sit there and I just wait to hear what's happening. And if not, I think we've done a good job of next man up. Again, Jair, Peter is coming and give us some good minutes, and so we just got to figure it out.
Yeah, it was basically right when JJ got back. I think he and Donnie overlapped for one game, right? They both played Florida State, and then Donnie was out. So you're, now that's a month and a half and 2 months in where you haven't been whole, and even back then, Eddie's hurt. Has this resembled at all, I guess, what you thought you guys were going to put out there this year?
Not really, but the one message from Coach Autry is that we got to play. We still got games to play, and we can sit back and feel sorry for ourselves. We missing this guy, we missing that guy, but that's not mentality. Our mentality is that we try to go out there and beat every team that's in front of us, and and when we win, we take the glory, and when we lose, we take the agony and what's going on, and we just that's just part of the territory.
We talk a lot about NIL around here, Griff, and I know you can't divulge everything that goes on with that, but how are you feeling with that process right now? It's leading the way, right, in what you guys do here at this point.
Definitely, it's leading the way. If you look across the country and what everything is right now, and I was just telling somebody, I was just having this conversation, and this is no disrespect to nobody or anything like that, but when I was working at the University of Dayton 19 years ago, the ACC was the ACC, the Big East, and obviously you had great coaches in here and stuff like that, and you had the Big East winning national championships and stuff like that, and then now, you flip. I mean, it's been flipped to the SEC schools that has, money, not to say schools, but collectives that has, money that's really investing in their program, their basketball programs just as well as their football programs, and look what's happening. It just flipped, to the SEC. And again, you still had good programs in the SEC. You had, Kentucky's and all that stuff. But now, you got the Alabamas of the world, the Ole Misses of the world. Obviously Florida's getting back to Florida. I mean, you go to the Big 12 and, obviously Baylor was a powerhouse. But, look at them now, it's just, what it is. And we just got to adjust to it. And it's taken us some time to adjust to it. But we'll get in there. And it's not like, we're crying and stuff because we have resources just as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it still hasn't been technically approved, but we're all still working under the assumption, right, that this house settlement's going to happen, and then the university itself is going to be able to, chip in with that $20 million fund? I know Fran Brown was like, just wait till that turns out and look out now. Do you guys look at that as something that could be a game changer for you, or is that are the tables will just, it'll just be coming from different spots?
I think how can I say this politically, because obviously this is a little bit above my pay grade, but I think it'll be beneficial for us, and we just gotta wait to see what happens, and if it goes in our favor, I think we'll do a pretty good job of evaluating and getting some, continue to get guys in here that kind of fit with what we're trying to do.
Yeah, obviously the tap on that hasn't been officially turned on yet, so we don't quite exactly know.
You can't say we got this when we don't,
we just keep assuming it's going to happen, but we don't really actually quite know what's going to happen. And is that the most confusing part of this era right now? Like, it feels like things change every 2 minutes, and you've got to readjust on the fly, maybe more than you did 10 years ago.
Oh, definitely, it's fast. Every year is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Every team that you coach is going to be different, pretty much. When you think about, like, obviously the portal and what's going on with the NIL stuff and these collectives, so it's you're doing fly-by coaching.
Yeah.
Which some people can do it, and some people it's going to be a harder time for some people. So you just got to adjust and see what happens.
Yeah. Is it harder? We always look back over the years, right? Developing people getting ready their second, third years. Is it harder to do that now? I mean, obviously people are leaving, but is it harder to literally get the buy-in, I guess, of players to work at it while they're here, not knowing if there's going to get anything out of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you have your summers, your summer programs, and you try to get these guys to come in and get to understand what you're trying to do and put them in situations where you can see it's hard. I just want to say that it's hard, and it's taking some time to adjust, right? Like, I just think that the unfair thing, I think, for what's going on here with coaches is that I think a lot of people are a little bit hard on him because of the standard that we're supposed to be at and get to. It's harder than what you think, and obviously being a second-year head coach is an adjustment, right? You come into a situation thinking like it's going to be this way, but like we just said, it changes, and it's changing fast.
Mm-hmm.
So now you prepare all your life to be in this one situation in this moment, but the times has changed, so now you have to adjust and make an adjustment, and that's what's happening, and especially for us.
I think back to I think it was your team's media day at the beginning of the season. It was right when Tony Bennett had retired, it was 2 days before that or something, and somebody asked Red, what's this like for a head coach? And his answer was something to the effect of, well, I became a coach after this stuff had started, technically, so I can't complain about it.
Right.
But you got to see him deal with this stuff every day. I know that's the right answer, but it's not necessarily true right behind the scenes. It's changed under his feet from when he was prepping for this.
Oh, for sure. And it's again, it's an adjustment, and I think to piggyback what Eric Devendorf said, I think he's doing a good job of what's going on.
Yeah.
And we all here to support. We do our jobs to the best of our ability, and should it be a lot more wins? Maybe, or maybe this is the situation that we're supposed to be in, and we have to figure out how to get out of it, and what's the next step, and how do we make the adjustment from year to year? What do we do? You know.
What's a big time broadcaster Devendorf like to deal with for you? You assist hosts. Yeah, is he big time in you guys?
Devo's great. Because he's passionate about Syracuse University. He's passionate about men's basketball. He's passionate about our guys getting better. He's around, and these guys see him, and some of them actually worked with him. Worked out with him. So, he's good to have around.
All right, we got Griff here. As you mentioned, Notre Dame will be at the Dome on Saturday. 4 o'clock, Tim? Yeah, there's a lot of weird times now, Griff. I can't keep up with it all. Used to be like
TV.
Noon, 7. Now it's 3:15. Okay, 4 o'clock on Saturday, ACC Network. Devo will be on the call of that one, as will Doug Sherman, who's coming up next hour. You guys played a close game a month ago. That kind of slipped away. But you didn't have JJ, and they didn't have Burton. What changes now that those two guys are back in the mix?
I mean, you get a lot of firepower. You get some star power in there. Yeah. Obviously, Shrewsbury is a really good player, and his dad is a very good coach. But, Marcus Burton is probably one of the best guards in the country, let alone the ACC. And He's a handful to deal with. But they also get the kid Muhammad back, who didn't play in that game too. Nazi Muhammad's son, who's a very good player. Very, very, very underrated team that, you know what, in the future is going to be a team to be reckoned with because they're very good.
Yeah, you've played against Nazi's son, Dikembe's son. You're stacking them up here this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With the big.
That's telling you getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all are here, Griffin. And then I guess technically we're going to talk to you before this game because the game's on Wednesday. Then you're off to Clemson, and they're playing some pretty good ball right now.
Huge, it's unbelievable. And it's always a dogfight down there. Not even a dogfight. They kind of take you behind the shed and kind of start kicking your butt a little bit, man. It's a tough place to play. Always been a tough place to play. Coach Brownell's done an unbelievable job, especially these last couple of years. It's going to be a dogfight.
All right, that's coming up next Wednesday. We'll talk to you probably from the hotel. That's probably where we'll catch you next Wednesday. All right, Griff, always great to see you. Good luck Saturday.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
There's our guy, Alan.